Welcome to Martha Family Secret Stories. You are out. Do not come back. We are moving on without you. That was my mother's voice. Flat. Rehearsed. Final. On a voicemail she left at 9:47 on a Tuesday night. No argument before it. No warning. No conversation. Just 31 seconds that erased 27 years of being the daughter who paid every bill, covered every emergency, and never once said no. I listened to it twice. Then I texted back one word. Okay. What my family did not know was that okay was not surrender. It was authorization. My own, to myself, to finally stop being their safety net. Within 72 hours, the family trust was frozen. The house deal was dead. Their lawyer was leaving messages I had absolutely no intention of returning. 46 missed calls by morning. And a text from their attorney that read, "We have a serious problem." I laughed out loud. Please subscribe and like this video and listen to my story till the end and let me know which city you are listening from. That way, I can see how far my story has traveled. My name is Vivienne. I am 27 years old. And this is the story of the Tuesday evening that changed everything. I was sitting cross-legged on my bed in my studio apartment in Philadelphia. Laptop balanced on a pillow. Finishing a risk assessment report for a client whose portfolio had more red flags than a parade. That was my job. Spotting danger before it arrived. Ironic. I know. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. One missed call from Mom. Then the voicemail notification. I almost did not play it. My mother rarely called me directly. She called Chloe, my younger sister, the one who still lived 20 minutes from our parents, the one whose name came up in every family group chat like a headline. When Mom needed something from me, she usually texted 3 words. Call me back. Or send money, please. But a voicemail felt different. Personal. So I pressed play. Her voice came through flat and clear, like she had practiced the words in front of a mirror. Vivienne, this is your mother. I want you to know that we have made a decision as a family. You are no longer welcome here. Do not come back. Do not make this harder than it needs to be. We are moving on without you. 31 seconds. I timed it on the playback bar. I played it again. Thinking I had missed a reason. A because. A since. And after what you did. But there was nothing. Just the verdict. No trial. I checked our family group chat. The one Chloe had created 2 Christmases ago. The one where Mom posted casserole recipes and Dad sent blurry photos of birds from the backyard. I had been removed. Not muted. Removed. And the chat had been renamed. The old name was the Harper family. The new name, and I will remember this until the day I die, was us. So that is what I was now. The opposite of us. I set the phone face down on the nightstand and stared at the framed photo on my shelf. Our family at Chloe's college graduation. Mom beaming. Dad's hand on Chloe's shoulder. Me on the far right, half-cropped by whoever held the camera. I should have seen it then. For 10 minutes I did nothing. Just sat with my hands in my lap, listening to the upstairs neighbor's television bleed through the ceiling. Laugh track. Someone up there was watching a sitcom while my entire family voted me off the island. The first instinct was the old one. Call back. Apologize. Even though I did not know what for. Ask what I had done wrong. Promise to fix it. That had been the pattern since I was 14 years old. Absorb the blame. Patch the crack. Keep the peace. My thumb hovered over Mom's name in my contacts. But something caught. Like a gear that had finally stripped after too many years of grinding. Maybe it was the way her voice had sounded. Not angry. Not hurt. Rehearsed. Or maybe it was the timing. I had spent that entire afternoon recalculating the mortgage payment on the family house. The house I paid for. The house where Chloe slept in the master bedroom and I got the pull-out sofa when I visited. I lowered my thumb. Opened the text thread with Mom instead. Typed one word. Okay. 5 letters. 1 period. I hit send. Delivered. Then nothing. No typing bubbles. No callback. Just silence. Which told me everything. She expected me to chase, beg, explain. When I did not, she had no script for that. I could not sleep. Not because of sadness, that would come later, around 3 in the morning, brief and sharp like a muscle cramp. I could not sleep because my brain did what it always does under pressure. It went to work. I opened my laptop and created a new spreadsheet. Title, Family Financial Obligations, V. Harper. Column A, Item. Column B, Monthly Amount. Column C, Duration. Column D, Total. I started typing. And what came out of those columns, line by line, was the full price of being the dependable daughter. It was so much higher than I thought. Mortgage on the family house. $1,850 a month. 3 years. $66,600. Health insurance for Mom and Dad. $640 a month. 2.5 years. $19,200. Chloe's car loan. The white SUV she posted on Instagram with the caption blessed. $380 a month. 14 months. $5,320. Then the emergencies. Dad's back surgery copay. The roof leak that needed fixing before winter. Chloe's security deposit when she moved out, then moved back, then moved out again. The dental bill Mom forgot to mention until it had gone to collections. By 2 in the morning I had it all on one screen. I leaned back and looked at the total cell, bolded in the bottom right corner. $143,214. I had contributed more than my annual salary over 6 years to people who had just cut me off with a voicemail. But the number was not even the worst part. The worst part was what I found when I pulled up the supporting documents I kept in a cloud folder. My compulsive record-keeping habit. The one that made me good at my job. I was the co-signer on the mortgage. My name was on the deed as co-owner. I was the sole trustee of my grandmother's trust fund, $86,000 she had left for the family's education and medical needs, managed by me because Grandma said I was the only one she trusted with money. Every critical financial thread holding my family's life together ran through my name. They had told me to leave. But they had forgotten I was the foundation. Weeping. Morning came gray and cold. October in Philadelphia. The kind of sky that looks like a ceiling. I made coffee on autopilot and logged into the joint checking account. The household account I had set up 2 years ago to streamline bill payments. Mortgage, utilities, insurance, all pulling from one place. My money went in. Everyone else's expenses went out. The dashboard loaded and I noticed it immediately. The contact email on the account had been changed. My email had been swapped out. In its place, an address I recognized immediately. Chloe's. The change was timestamped 2 days before the voicemail. 2 days before. I sat with that for a moment and let it settle. My sister had changed the contact information on my financial account before my mother had even recorded that message. The voicemail was not an emotional outburst. It was a scheduled step. I kept digging. In my inbox, buried under work emails, I found a forwarded notification from the title company handling the house. Subject line, Beneficiary Amendment, Confirmation Pending. The form requested my removal from the property deed, effective upon approval. Submitted by Chloe Harper, Authorized Family Representative. I had never authorized anyone to represent me. I had never agreed to be removed from anything. My coffee went cold on the desk. I did not touch it. Here is what I understood now. Sitting in that gray morning light with my laptop glowing and my phone still face down from the night before. Chloe did not want me out of the family. That was just the cover story. She wanted me off the paperwork. Off the deed. Off the trust. Off every document that proved I had built what they were living in. The voicemail was the distraction. The real theft was happening in the filing system. And there is one thing you need to know about me. I work in risk analysis. I spot fraud patterns for a living. My sister had just made the worst bet of her life. Engagement break. I need to stop here for just a moment. Because if you have ever been the person who holds everything together, the one everyone calls, the one who never says no, the one who keeps the whole structure standing, and then one day you find out that structure was being quietly dismantled around you while you were still paying for it, drop a comment right now. Just say, I was the foundation. Because what I found next in those documents made my hands go completely still. Stay with me. To understand what happened next, you need to understand where it started. Not the voicemail. That was the ending. The beginning was a kitchen. I was 14. Chloe was 10. Summer break had just started, and our parents sat us down at the dining table to explain the plan. Chloe would go to art camp. 4 weeks. $300. I would stay home, watch her in the mornings before camp, cook lunch, do laundry, make sure the house did not fall apart while mom and dad worked. I asked if I could go to math camp. There was a program at the community college. Free for students with qualifying grades. I qualified. Mom shook her head. Someone has to be here for your sister. But it is free, I said. Vivienne, you are the older one. You understand. I understood. I understood that Chloe got summers and I got responsibilities. That my grades were not a source of pride. They were a forecast of future income. When I made honor roll that fall, Mom's only comment was, good. Keep it up. One of you needs to make real money someday. Not I am proud of you. Not you deserve this. Just you will be useful later. And when Chloe bombed her 6th grade finals that same year, the whole house rallied. Dad took her for ice cream. Mom sat with her for an hour, stroking her hair, saying you are more than a test score, baby. I was in the next room. I heard every word. Nobody said anything like that to me. Not because I was failing. But because I never needed comfort. I was the strong one. The steady one. The one who could handle it. Mom told me that once, directly. Phone call. Sophomore year of college. I had mentioned feeling overwhelmed. She said, you are the strong one, Vivienne. Chloe needs me more. 7 words. I carried them like a brick in my chest for a decade. Ah. My first real paycheck arrived on a Friday in June. And within 4 hours, the calls had already started. 6 years of checks I wrote, emergencies I covered, a mortgage I paid on a house where I slept on a couch, and it all ends with a voicemail and a forged signature on a document I never knew existed. Part 2 is next. And the moment I found out exactly what my sister had done to my name on that deed is the moment everything changed permanently. My first real paycheck arrived on a Friday in June. The summer after I graduated. 21 years old. Student loans already accumulating interest. Starting salary at a mid-size consulting firm that expected 60-hour weeks. I felt proud for about 4 hours. Mom called that evening. Dad had thrown out his back at work. Not workers' compensation eligible because he was technically a subcontractor. Hospital bill. $2,000. Could I help? I sent it that night. Did not hesitate. 3 weeks later, Chloe needed a security deposit for her first apartment. $1,200. She was 17, about to turn 18, heading to cosmetology school. I asked Mom carefully. Does Chloe have any savings? The silence on the other end was a weapon. Then, she is your baby sister, Vivienne. She is starting out. How can you even ask that? I sent the $1,200. My own student debt, $38,000, sat untouched. No one asked about it. No one offered. It was not even a topic. The assumption was simple. Vivienne is fine. Vivienne handles things. Vivienne does not need help because Vivienne never asks for it. That first year out of college, I sent home close to $14,000. Not in a lump sum. In cuts. A few hundred here. 1,000 there. Always urgent. Always just this once. Just this once became every month. They never said thank you. I do not mean they forgot once. I mean the words were never spoken. Not in a text. Not on the phone. Not at Thanksgiving when I flew home on a budget airline and ate dinner at a table I had financially rebuilt. My birthday that year. Mom forgot. She posted a throwback photo of Chloe on social media that same week. Chloe's birthday 2 months later. Party at the house. I was asked to order the cake and pay for it. The last month of that year, I ate instant noodles for 9 days straight because my checking account was empty. I did not tell anyone. Because if I had, Mom would have said I was being dramatic. And I believed her. That is the part that still hurts the most. 3 years before the voicemail, Mom called with what she described as a family opportunity. She and Dad wanted to buy a house. A 3-bedroom outside the city. Quieter neighborhood. Better schools nearby for whenever the grandkids came. She said it like a dream they had earned. The reality was simpler. Their credit was destroyed. Dad's medical debt. A missed car payment from years ago. A collections notice Mom had ignored until it became a judgment. No lender would touch them. So Mom asked me. Just cosign, Vivienne. Your credit is perfect. The house will be in my name, but you will be on the loan and the deed. It is the family home. Someday it belongs to both of you girls. I said yes. I did not hire a lawyer. I did not ask for a written agreement beyond the mortgage paperwork itself. Because the voice in my head, the one Mom had installed over 27 years, said, family does not need contracts. If you ask for one, you do not trust us. And if you do not trust us, you are not family. So I signed. Co-signer on the mortgage. Co-owner on the deed, though Mom was listed as primary owner. And from that month forward, $1,850 came out of my account like clockwork. Chloe moved in immediately. Took the largest bedroom. Decorated it. Posted photos. Home sweet home. When I visited, which was not often, because I was working overtime to cover the payments, I slept on the pull-out sofa in the den. I paid for a house where I slept on a couch. Not funny. Absolutely not funny. But the laugh is the only thing that keeps you from screaming. About 6 months before the voicemail, I overheard something during a family call. Mom's voice in the background, talking to Chloe. She did not know I was still on the line. She said, once we refinance, we can pull some equity out. Do not worry about Vivienne. I will handle her. Handle me. Like a line item. Like a problem. I did not say anything. I told myself I had misheard. But my hands were shaking when I put the phone down. The spreadsheet I had been working on blurred in front of me. My grandmother, Mom's mother, had died 4 years earlier. Lung cancer. Fast and cruel. 11 weeks from diagnosis to funeral. But Grandma was sharp until the very end. 2 months before she passed, she updated her trust. $86,000 set aside for the family's education and medical expenses. And she named one trustee to manage it. Me. Not Mom. Not Chloe. Me. I remember the lawyer reading it out. Mom's face going completely still. She did not argue. Not in front of the attorney. But later, in the car, she said, "Your grandmother did not understand how things work. That money should be managed by the family together. I am the family, Mom." She did not answer. The trust sat quietly for 3 years. Then Chloe came calling. She wanted $15,000 for a business venture. An online resale shop she had seen someone run on social media. No business plan. No projections. Just a link to a wholesaler and a feeling. I said no. Not to hurt her. Because the trust terms were specific. Education. Medical. Not startup capital for an idea with no structure. Chloe cried. Of course she did. She called Mom. Mom called me. Your grandmother would have wanted to help Chloe. You are being controlling. I am following the trust document, Mom. That is literally my legal job. Chloe did not speak to me for 2 months after that. And during those 2 months, I found out from a cousin that Chloe had been telling the extended family I was hoarding grandma's money and probably spending it on myself. I never corrected the record. I was too tired of fighting ghosts. But here is the part that mattered. The part one did not realize would become a weapon. 2 months before the voicemail, Chloe called me. Said she wanted to clear the air. Her voice was warm. Almost sweet. Sisterly in a way she had not been in years. We talked for 40 minutes. At one point, her guard dropped. Or maybe she just got careless. And she said it. Honestly, Viv, I just need you out of the trust and off the deed. Then everything gets simpler for everyone. She said it like it was reasonable. Like asking me to step aside from my own life was a favor I should want to do. What she did not know, what she could not have known, was that I had been recording the call. Not to trap her. I record important calls as a professional habit. My app flags any call over 10 minutes with a family contact and auto records with a disclosure tone at the start. Chloe either did not hear it or did not care. I saved that file in 3 places. Cloud. USB. An email to myself with the subject line, just in case. That recording was the one card Chloe did not know I was holding. And I was going to wait for exactly the right table to play it on. If you have ever been the reliable one who got repaid with betrayal, if you have ever given everything you had and then found out someone was quietly building a case to take the rest, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment. Tell me you know this feeling. Because what I found in those documents the morning after the voicemail is something I still cannot fully believe happened. Keep going with me. Wednesday morning. 2 days after the voicemail. I walked into the office looking like I had slept inside a filing cabinet. My colleague Marcus Webb noticed before I reached my desk. He was senior to me by 7 years. A calm, steady presence who made clients feel safe handing over their ugliest numbers. Not the type to pry. But that morning, he pried. I had gone to the break room for coffee. When I came back, Marcus was standing near my desk. My laptop screen was still open. The spreadsheet was still up. Family Financial Obligations, v. Harper. The total bolded at the bottom. He looked at me. Then at the screen. Then back at me. Viv. His voice was low. I do not want to overstep. But that spreadsheet, is that money you are owed or money you gave away? I could have lied. Could have said it was a client file. A template. But I was running on 4 hours of sleep and the fumes of a decade's worth of being fine. And something in the way Marcus asked, direct, no judgment, no filler, cracked the seal. I told him. Not everything. Just the outline. The voicemail. The group chat. The house. The trust. The number. Marcus did not react the way most people do. He did not gasp or shake his head. He went quiet. And when Marcus goes quiet, it means he is calculating. 10 seconds passed. Then he said something that rearranged the furniture in my head. Vivienne, I have been exactly where you are. Different details. Same architecture. My father pulled something similar when I was 29. And the thing I wish someone had told me sooner is this: you do not need to call them back. You need to call a lawyer. He wrote a name on a sticky note and slid it across my desk. Janet Aldridge. Real estate and trust attorney. A Philadelphia number. She is good. She is the one who kept me from losing my house. I put the note in my wallet. It stayed there for exactly 7 hours. The time it took me to find what I found next. That evening, I sat down with every document I had and went through them the way I would go through a client's portfolio. Line by line. Looking for what did not match. I pulled up the email from the title company again. The one requesting my removal from the deed. I opened the attachment. The form was standard. A beneficiary amendment request. At the bottom, 2 signature lines. One for Donna Harper, primary owner. One for Vivienne Harper, co-owner. Both lines were signed. I zoomed in on my signature. And my stomach went cold. It was close. Someone had studied my handwriting. The slant was right. The size was right. Even the little tail I leave on the N in Vivienne was there. But the O in Harper was wrong. I write my capital O with an open loop. A habit from years of signing financial documents quickly. This O was closed. Sealed shut. A small thing. The kind of thing only I would notice. But I noticed. Someone had forged my signature to remove me from the deed of a property I had paid over $66,000 toward. I checked the submission details. Submitted electronically by Chloe Harper. Authorized family representative. Submission date, 3 days before the voicemail. I sat back in my chair and let the timeline build itself. First, Chloe submits the forged document to remove me from the deed. Then she changes the contact email on the joint account. Then, only then, Mom sends the voicemail. This was not a family falling apart in the heat of the moment. This was a sequence. A plan. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3. My removal from the paperwork first, then my removal from the family so I would not be looking at the documents while they pushed me out the door. My sister did not just betray me. She ran a project plan. And in my line of work, a project plan always leaves a trail. I called Janet Aldridge the next morning. Her assistant put me through in under 3 minutes when I said the words forged signature and pending title amendment. And what Janet told me when she looked at those 2 signatures side by side, what she said about what I could do and what the consequences would be, is part 3. That is the part where the 72 hours began. And I promise you, the moment those emails went out, nothing in my family's life was ever the same again. Janet Aldridge's office was in a converted brownstone near Rittenhouse Square. Bookshelves floor to ceiling. A glass desk that reflected the overhead lights. A chair so firm it seemed designed to keep clients focused. She offered me water. I declined. I did not want to be comfortable. I wanted answers. I placed the folder on her desk. Everything. Mortgage contract. Deed. The forged amendment form with both signatures. The email from the title company. The spreadsheet. $143,000 itemized. And the bank notification showing Chloe had changed the contact email on the joint account. Janet went through each page the way a surgeon reads a scan. Slowly. No expression. Glasses halfway down her nose. She laid the forged signature next to my real one from the original mortgage contract and studied them side by side. Then she took off her glasses and looked at me. Miss Harper, you have 2 problems and 1 advantage. She tapped the forged form. Problem 1. Someone committed fraud using your identity. The signature discrepancy alone could support a forgery claim. She tapped the title company email. Problem 2. A refinance is pending on a property you co-own without your knowledge or consent. Both are serious. She paused. Your advantage is straightforward. You are the co-signer. You are the co-owner. You are the sole trustee of a family trust. Nothing, not the refinance, not the title change, not a single dollar from that trust, moves without your actual signature. And your actual signature is the one thing they could not get. I sat with that for a moment. Then asked the question that had been building since Tuesday night. What happens if I just stop? Stop paying the mortgage. Stop signing anything. Stop being the infrastructure. Janet folded her hands. Then the whole thing collapses under its own weight. The bank issues a notice. The refinance dies. The trust stays locked. All of it. Every financial arrangement, they depend on stalls until you decide otherwise. She let that land. Then added, almost gently. There is one more thing you should know. A forged signature on a deed amendment is not just a civil matter. In Pennsylvania, that can be charged as a felony. I am not saying you need to go there. But you should know you could. My chair suddenly felt a lot less uncomfortable. That night, back in my apartment, I opened the recording app on my phone. I had not listened to Chloe's call since the night it happened 2 months ago. At the time, I had filed it under annoying but harmless. Just Chloe being Chloe. Now, with everything I knew, it sounded completely different. I put my earbuds in and hit play. Chloe's voice filled my head. Warm. Casual. The way she gets when she wants something but has not quite asked for it yet. I am just saying, Viv, you are so busy all the time. You have got your career, your apartment, your whole life up there. Would it not be easier if you just stepped back a little? Let Mom handle the trust stuff and the house. If your name was not on it, you would not have to worry about the payments anymore. That would be a relief, right? I remembered thinking at the time that she was being clumsy but not malicious. Just Chloe trying to simplify her world. Then came the line at minute 32. I just need you out of the trust and off the deed. Then everything gets simpler for everyone. I paused it. Rewound. Played it again. Need. Not want. Not it might be nice. Need. She had told me exactly what she was going to do. She had said it out loud into a phone that was recording. And then when I did not volunteer to disappear, she forged my name and had Mom deliver the eviction notice disguised as a family decision. I saved the file again. Cloud. USB. Email to myself. 3 copies. Because in my family, the truth had a habit of going missing. Friday afternoon. Janet's office. I sat across from her with a legal pad filled on both sides. She had a matching one. Let us walk through this step by step, she said. What you can do. What is within your rights. And what the consequences will be for them and for you. Step 1. Notify the bank that the deed amendment form was submitted with a forged signature. Janet would send a formal letter with supporting evidence. My real signature from the original mortgage versus the forgery on the amendment. The bank would be legally required to freeze the refinance transaction pending investigation. Step 2. As sole trustee of Grandma's trust, I had full authority to freeze all distributions. No court order needed. No approval from any family member. 1 signature from me, 1 phone call to the trust management institution, and $86,000 goes into lockdown. Step 3. Stop the automatic mortgage payments. I was the cosigner, not the primary borrower. Donna was the primary. If I stopped paying, the obligation reverted entirely to her. And her credit score could not support the loan on its own. The bank would issue a formal notice within 30 days. If she could not catch up or refinance independently, the foreclosure clock would start. Step 4. Janet sends a cease and desist letter on my behalf, notifying the family that I was withdrawing from all shared financial obligations effective immediately. I listened to each step. Nodded at each one. Then asked the question my gut would not let go. If they lose the house. Janet did not blink. Vivienne. They told you to leave. You are leaving. You are not taking the house from them. You are removing yourself from a loan they cannot service without you. If that causes a collapse, the structure was never sound. I picked up the pen and signed the authorization letter. The pen felt heavier than it should have. Not because I doubted the decision. Because I knew that once that ink dried, there was no undoing it. No quiet resolution. No late-night phone call that puts everything back in the drawer. This was not the sound of a bridge burning. I had just stopped being the bridge. Monday morning. I drove to the bank that managed Grandma's trust during my lunch break. The branch was quiet. I sat down with a trust officer named Daniel. A pleasant man with a blue tie and a pen. He clicked nervously while he talked. I presented my trustee documentation. Photo ID. The original trust instrument. A letter from Janet confirming my legal standing. Daniel reviewed it all, clicking his pen exactly 14 times. Then he looked up. Miss Harper, you are the sole trustee on this account. No other signatories. No co-trustees. No secondary beneficiaries with withdrawal authority. Click. What would you like to do? I would like to place a full freeze on all distributions from this trust effective immediately. No withdrawals, no transfers, no disbursements until I authorize them in writing. He blinked. Any particular reason? I have concerns about potential unauthorized access. I would like to conduct a review of all activity before allowing any further movement. That was language he understood. He typed for 2 minutes. Printed a form. Slid it across the desk. I signed it. $86,000. Locked. You will receive a confirmation email within the hour. No one else will be able to access these funds without your written authorization and a notarized release. Thank you, Daniel. I walked out into the October sun. The air was sharp. Leaves were turning. I stood on the sidewalk for a moment and felt something I did not expect. Not triumph. Not satisfaction. Lightness. Like setting down a suitcase I had not realized I had been carrying through every doorway for 4 years. This was step 1. The trust was secure. Grandma's money was safe. But the real earthquake was still coming. Because when Chloe tried to access that account, and she would, I was absolutely certain of it, she would hit a wall she could not charm, cry, or forge her way through. And that wall would have my name on it. I want you to really sit with this moment for a second. Not the anger of it. Not the legal part. But the weight of standing on a sidewalk in October and feeling lighter than you have in years because you finally stopped carrying something that was never supposed to be yours alone. If you have ever felt that specific kind of relief, drop a comment. I read every single one. Now stay with me, because Tuesday morning, Janet's team sent 3 emails. And by 4 o'clock that afternoon, everything had changed. Tuesday. Janet's paralegal sent 3 emails before noon. The first went to the mortgage lender. A formal notice of signature fraud on the deed amendment form. A side-by-side comparison of my real signature and the forged one. My sworn affidavit confirming I had never authorized the change. Janet's letter requested an immediate hold on all pending transactions related to the property until the bank completed its internal review. The second email went to the same lender, notifying them that I, as cosigner, was terminating my automatic payment authorization effective the next billing cycle. The letter cited my legal right to cease voluntary payments on a loan where the primary borrower had initiated unauthorized modifications without my consent. The third email went directly to the Harper family. A formal cease and desist. Vivienne Harper was withdrawing from all shared financial obligations. No further payments would be made on the mortgage, insurance, or any other joint expense. All future communications should be directed to Janet Aldridge, attorney at law. 3 emails. 12 attachments between them. 3 clicks of the send button. By 4 in the afternoon, the mortgage lender had responded. The refinance transaction was frozen, pending a fraud investigation. The deed amendment was flagged. No changes to the property title would be processed until further notice. I sat in my car in the parking garage after work. Engine off. Hands on the wheel. They were shaking. Not from fear. From the strange vertigo of doing something irreversible. In 48 to 72 hours, those letters would land. Mom would find out the mortgage payment had not come. The refinance was dead. The trust was locked. The insurance cancellation notice would arrive within 30 days. Every single safety net I had built under them, every invisible thread of money and signatures and reliability, was gone. Not cut. Just released. The way you let go of a rope when the person on the other end tells you they do not need you anymore. I turned the key. Pulled out of the garage. Drove home through Philadelphia traffic with the windows down. Cold air filling the car. And waited for my phone to start ringing. It took exactly 51 hours. I was at my desk reviewing a client report when my phone started buzzing. Not the polite single vibration of a text. The long, insistent pulse of a call. Then another. Then another. 46 missed calls by the time I looked. And the texts, stacked like bricks from Mom, from Dad, from Chloe, from their lawyer, are part 4. And the Friday meeting in Janet's conference room, with every member of my family sitting across a walnut table and the USB drive sitting in my folder, is the part that made the room go completely silent. 51 hours. I was at my desk Thursday morning reviewing a client's exposure report when my phone started buzzing. Not the polite single vibration of a text. The long, insistent pulse of a call. Then another. Then another. I did not look right away. Finished my paragraph. Saved the file. Then flipped the phone over. 19 missed calls from Mom. 8 from Dad. 14 from Chloe. 5 from a number I did not recognize. 46 total. The texts were stacked like bricks. Mom, Vivienne, call me right now. Mom, this is not a game. Mom, something happened with the bank and you need to fix this. Chloe, Viv, what did you do? Chloe, the refinance is frozen. They said your lawyer sent something. Chloe, call me now. Dad, honey, please call back. Your mother is very upset. Dad, we need to talk about the house situation. Then the one that made me set my coffee down and read it twice. An email from the unknown number. Professional letterhead. Gregory Pratt, attorney at law, representing Donna Harper. Dear Miss Harper. I represent your mother regarding the residential property. It has come to our attention that several financial actions have been taken that directly impact our client's interests. We would like to arrange an immediate conversation to discuss resolution. Please respond at your earliest convenience. And at the bottom, almost as an afterthought, we have a serious problem. I read it one more time. Then I leaned back in my chair and laughed. Not a bitter laugh. Not a villain laugh. Just the startled, involuntary sound of a woman who had spent 6 years answering every phone call on the first ring, and who had just watched 46 calls go to voicemail. 46. That is roughly one for every $3,000 I gave them. Funny how fast we are moving on without you becomes call us back immediately. I picked up my phone, opened the email from Gregory Pratt, forwarded it to Janet, and typed one line in the body of the forward. Let us schedule the meeting. Chloe did not wait for the meeting. She never was patient. The texts started rolling in Thursday afternoon. One after another. Spaced just far enough apart to suggest she was pacing while typing. Viv, I do not know what you told the bank, but you need to undo this. Mom is spiraling. Then 12 minutes later, this is not about you and me, okay? This is about the family. You are putting Mom and Dad in a really dangerous spot right now. 20 minutes after that, I never wanted any of this to go this far. You know that. We were just upset. People say things when they are upset. And the closer. The one she must have thought was her ace. You are being really, really selfish right now, Vivienne. Like unbelievably selfish. I sat at my kitchen counter and read each message carefully. Not because I needed to understand them. I understood them perfectly. I read them because I wanted to catalog the pattern one more time before I stopped engaging with it forever. Message 1, deflect. Make it about what I did, not what she did. Message 2, invoke the family shield. Weaponize mom and dad to trigger my guilt. Message 3, minimize. Rewrite the voicemail as a heat-of-the-moment mistake. Erase the forged signature. Erase the 3-step plan. Message 4, the label. Selfish. The word she knew I had been running from since I was 14 years old. 4 messages. 0 apologies. No mention of the voicemail. No mention of the forged signature. No mention of the deed amendment she had submitted under my name without my consent. Same Chloe. Same playbook. Just louder now that the stakes were real. I typed back one message. Have your lawyer contact mine. And I attached Janet's business card as a contact file. 30 seconds of silence. Then 3 gray dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Are you serious right now? I closed the app. Set the phone on the counter. Screen down. Then one last message from Chloe. I saw it in my notification banner before I silenced the thread. Fine. But do not blame me for what happens next. I almost smiled. Because that sentence, do not blame me for what happens next, was the most honest thing Chloe had said in years. She was already planning her next move and she wanted cover in advance. The difference now was that I was planning too. And my plans came with documentation. I have to pause here because something about those 4 text messages still gets to me. Not the anger in them. The precision. She knew exactly which words to use. Selfish. Family. Dangerous. Every single one of them designed to hit a specific nerve she had been pressing since we were children. If someone in your life has a list of words they reach for when they want to make you fold, drop a comment below. Because the Friday meeting is coming. And what happens when I place that USB drive on the conference table is something I think about every time I hear the word selfish. Friday evening. My phone rang. Dad's number. I picked up because the last time Dad called twice in 1 week was when he went to the emergency room. Muscle memory. The responsible daughter answering the responsible phone call. But it was not Dad. Vivienne Marie Harper. Mom's voice. Full name. The tone she uses when she wants you to feel 11 years old again. I do not know what has gotten into you. But you are destroying this family. Your father has not slept in 3 days. The bank sent a letter about the mortgage. The insurance company says our coverage is ending. And now Chloe tells me you are hiding behind a lawyer like we are strangers. I turned the burner down to low. Mom. You sent me a voicemail telling me not to come back. I am doing what you asked. That was because I was upset. You know how I get. I stopped paying for things that are not mine anymore. You told me I am not family. If I am not family, I am not financially responsible for the family. Silence. 2 beats. 3. Then, after everything I sacrificed for you. After all the years I poured into raising you. This is how you repay me. There it was. The script. The same guilt trip that had kept me writing checks for 6 years. I sacrificed. You owe. The eternal family ledger where my side was always in the red. Mom, I am not repaying anything. I am done paying. There is a difference. Her breath went sharp. You will regret this, Vivienne. I am telling you. You will look back on this moment and be ashamed. Maybe. But if I am ashamed, it will be for my own reasons. Not because you told me to be. I hung up. Set the phone down next to the stove. My hands were trembling. The pasta water was boiling over. Hissing on the burner. I was not crying. Or if I was, it was not from guilt. It was from the kind of grief that comes when you realize the person you keep hoping your mother will become does not exist. Never did. And no amount of mortgage payments was ever going to build her. I turned the burner off. I was not hungry anymore. But I noticed something, standing in that quiet kitchen with the steam curling around me. Mom had not mentioned the forged signature. Not once. Either she did not know what Chloe had done. Or she knew and decided it did not matter. I was not sure which was worse. Saturday morning. My phone became a bulletin board of people I had not spoken to in months. Aunt Patricia, Mom's younger sister, texted first. Honey, your mother is beside herself. Whatever this disagreement is, can you not just talk it out? She says you are trying to take the house. Then Uncle Robert on Dad's side. Heard some things through the grapevine. You know, family comes first. Then a cousin I had met exactly twice. Hey, Vivienne. Not sure what is going on, but Chloe seems really hurt. Just wanted to say you should probably call your mom. One after another. All morning. All with the same invisible fingerprints on them. I opened social media. I had not posted anything in weeks, but I had a feeling. And there it was. Chloe's latest status, posted at 11 the previous night. When your own blood turns their back on you over money. Family should never be about transactions. Some people only care about control. Praying for healing. 47 likes. 22 comments. Hearts and prayer hands and stay strong, babe, from people who had absolutely no idea what had actually happened. My chest tightened. The old reflex fired. The need to explain. To correct. To post my own side and line up the receipts and show everyone the spreadsheet and the forged signature and the voicemail. I typed 3 different responses. Deleted all 3. Then I remembered what Marcus had told me over coffee 2 days earlier, when I had admitted I was terrified of being the villain in Chloe's narrative. Do not fight the narrative on their turf, he had said, stirring his coffee without looking up. Bring the truth to the right room. The right room. Not social media. Not a group chat. Not a phone call where Mom could hang up when the facts got uncomfortable. A room with a table. With lawyers. With documents. Where crying does not override evidence and I am the victim has to compete with timestamps. I closed the app, opened my email, and wrote to Janet. I think it is time for the meeting. All of them. Face to face. With everything we have. Janet replied in 11 minutes. Agreed. I will coordinate with Pratt. Friday. My office. 5 days. 5 days until every story Chloe had ever told would have to survive a conference table. I set my phone on the kitchen counter and poured myself a second coffee. My hands were steady. Friday was 5 days away. And in those 5 days, I prepared my folder the way I prepare a client portfolio. Organized. Labeled. Devastating. Part 5 is the meeting. It is the room. It is the moment I placed that USB drive on the table and pressed play. And what happened in the silence after Chloe's voice came through that speaker is something I will never forget as long as I live. Friday. 2 in the afternoon. Janet Aldridge's conference room on the 3rd floor of the brownstone. Glass walls. A long walnut table. 6 leather chairs. A water pitcher no one would touch. I arrived 10 minutes early, set my folder on the table, aligned the edges. Janet sat to my left, laptop open, notepad ready. Neither of us spoke. At 1:58, the door opened. Mom came in first. Navy blouse. Chin high. purse clutched against her ribs like a shield. She looked at me for exactly 1 second, not at my face, but at my folder, then sat in the far chair without a word. Dad followed. Gray shirt. Hands in his pockets. He glanced at me and something crossed his face. Not quite guilt. Not quite shame. Something in between that did not have a name. He sat next to Mom and folded his hands on the table. Then Chloe. She walked in last, which was deliberate. She wore a soft pink cardigan over a white shirt. Her eyes were red-rimmed. Her lower lip was doing the slight quiver she had been perfecting since elementary school. She pulled her chair close to Mom's and reached for Mom's hand under the table. The performance was flawless. If you did not know the script, you would have thought she was the victim in this room. Gregory Pratt entered behind her. Gray suit. Firm handshake with Janet. A brief nod to me. He sat at the end of the table, equidistant from both sides. Janet opened. Thank you all for being here. This meeting exists to address the financial and legal issues that have arisen in recent weeks. Miss Harper will present first, as agreed by both counsel. She will not be interrupted. I opened the folder. Looked up. Made eye contact with my mother for the first time since a voicemail tried to erase me from the family. I will start, I said, with a number. I slid the spreadsheet to the center of the table. 5 copies. 1 for each person. 1 for the record. $143,214. I let the number sit in the air. No one moved. That is what I have contributed to this family over the past 6 years. Mortgage payments on this property. $66,600. Health insurance for Mom and Dad. $19,200. Chloe's car loan. $5,320. Emergency expenses. Surgeries, roof repairs, security deposits, dental bills. The rest. Every payment is documented. Dates, amounts, account records. It is all on this sheet. Mom's eyes moved down the page. I watched her scan each line the way you watch someone read a medical report they were not expecting. This is what I gave. Not as a loan. Not under contract. Just because I was asked. And because I believed that was what family meant. Mom opened her mouth. Janet raised one finger. Calm. Firm. Mrs. Harper, you will have your turn. I pulled the second document from the folder. 2 sheets side by side. I placed them flat on the table and turned them so everyone could read. On the left, my signature from the original mortgage contract, dated 3 years ago. On the right, a signature submitted on a deed amendment form requesting my removal from the property title. I did not sign this form. I did not authorize it. I did not know it existed until I discovered it in my email after being removed from this family by voicemail. Gregory Pratt leaned forward, studying the 2 signatures. His jaw tightened. The form was submitted electronically by Chloe Harper, listed as authorized family representative. 3 days before the voicemail. The room shifted. Not a sound. More like a barometric change. Dad's hand moved to his forehead. Gregory sat back in his chair slowly. Chloe's grip on Mom's hand tightened. And Mom looked at the signatures. Then at me. Then, for the first time since she had walked into this room, at Chloe. What is this? Someone forged my signature, I said, to steal my share of a house I paid for. I did not say who. I did not have to. Every eye in the room had already turned. Chloe let go of Mom's hand. That is insane. I did not forge anything. Her voice climbed. Vivienne is doing what she always does. She is manipulating the situation. She is making herself the victim because she cannot handle. I did not raise my voice. I did not need to. Chloe. One word. Flat. Quiet. It cut through her sentence like a blade through paper. Before you finish that thought, I want you to hear something. I reached into the back cover of the folder, pulled out the small envelope, and removed the USB drive. Janet's laptop was already connected to a speaker on the table. I plugged it in, found the file, and hovered the cursor over the play button. This is a recording of a phone call between you and me 2 months before the voicemail. The call was disclosed at the start. My app plays an audible notification tone. If you would like to dispute its authenticity, Mr. Pratt can have it verified. Chloe's face went white. Not red. White. The kind of white that happens when blood retreats from the surface. I clicked play. The room filled with Chloe's voice. Warm. Casual. Coaxing. I just need you out of the trust and off the deed. Then everything gets simpler for everyone. The recording ended. No one moved. I looked at Mom. She was staring at the speaker like it had physically struck her. Lips slightly parted. No words. I looked at Dad. His eyes were closed. His hand still on his forehead. I looked at Gregory Pratt. He had placed his pen on the table and folded his hands. The universal posture of a lawyer recalculating his entire position. And I looked at Chloe. She was looking at Mom. Searching for the lifeline that had always been there. The immediate defense. The she did not mean it. The instant redirect of blame back onto me. Mom did not look back. 15 seconds of silence. I counted them the way you count the seconds between lightning and thunder, waiting to learn how close the strike was. It was the loudest my family had ever been. Weeping. Then Chloe broke. That is out of context. I did not mean it like that. I was just talking. People say things. Janet's voice was steady as a scalpel. The recording is timestamped 2 months before a forged document bearing Miss Harper's signature was submitted to remove her from the deed. The context, I would say, is remarkably clear. Chloe turned to Mom again. Her lip trembled. Real this time? I could not tell anymore. Mom, you believe me, right? She is twisting everything. She always does this. I closed the folder. Slowly. The sound of the cover meeting the back page was the only noise in the room. Donna turned to me. Her voice was different now. Smaller. Vivienne, I did not know about the signature. I swear to you, I did not know. I believe you did not know about the signature, Mom. She exhaled. But you knew when you recorded that voicemail. You knew when you removed me from the group chat. You knew every time Chloe told you a story about me and you never once called to ask if it was true. You chose a version that was comfortable. And I paid the price for it. In dollars. In years. In every holiday where I sat at the far end of the table and told myself it was fine. Donna's chin dropped. Not a nod. More like something inside her gave way by a fraction. I stood up. Here is what happens now. I kept my voice even. Professional. The way I deliver a risk assessment when the numbers are bad and there is no soft way to say it. The trust will be transferred to a professional management firm. I am stepping down as trustee, but the terms Grandma set will be enforced. Education and medical only. No exceptions. I looked at Gregory Pratt. Regarding the forged signature, I will not be filing a criminal complaint at this time. But every document, every recording, every communication has been preserved and is held by my attorney. I looked at Chloe. She was staring at the table. Pink cardigan pulled tight around her. The red-eyed performance had finally collapsed into something real. Or at least something closer to it. Chloe, I do not hate you. But I do not trust you. And I do not have to. I picked up my folder. Nodded once to Janet. Walked to the door. Dad's voice. Cracked. Low. Vivienne. I paused with my hand on the handle. Did not turn around. 60 days, Dad. Use them well. The door clicked shut behind me. My heels echoed down the hallway. Steady. Even. Unhurried. I did not look back. Not because I was angry. Because there was nothing behind me I had not already said. Tell me in the comments. And if you have dealt with something similar, share your story. You are not alone. Subscribe for more stories about standing your ground and reclaiming your life. 72 hours after the meeting, the pieces fell exactly where gravity said they would. Without me as co-signer, the family's refinance was permanently dead. The bank sent a formal notice. Donna Harper had 90 days to resume full mortgage payments on her own, secure a new co-signer with qualifying credit, or face the beginning of foreclosure proceedings. Donna's credit score could not carry the loan. Not even close. The trust transferred to a licensed fiduciary firm within 1 week. Every dollar accounted for. Every withdrawal now subject to third-party review against Grandma's original terms. Chloe could not charm, cry, or forge her way to a cent of it. My insurance cancellation took effect on the 30-day mark. Mom and Dad's health coverage lapsed on a Wednesday. By Thursday, Mom was on the phone with the marketplace, learning for the first time what insurance actually costs when someone else is not paying for it. Nearly double what I had been covering. Gregory Pratt formally withdrew from representing the Harper family 10 days after the meeting. His letter to Mom cited irreconcilable factual discrepancies. Polished legal language for your daughter committed fraud and you did not tell me. They were now without counsel. And the social narrative Chloe had built so carefully on social media began to crack. Aunt Patricia called Mom after the meeting and asked pointed questions. A cousin on Dad's side texted me directly. I did not respond. I did not need to. The facts were doing their own press tour. None of this was revenge. I want to be clear about that. I did not engineer a collapse. I removed myself from a structure that was only standing because I was holding it up. When I let go, it did what any unsupported structure does. It buckled. Not because I pushed it. Because it was never built to stand on its own. 3 weeks after the meeting, a Sunday afternoon. I was reading on my couch, an actual book, paper pages, no screen, when Dad called. His voice was thinner than usual. Like someone had stretched it over too many sleepless nights. Vivienne. I have been meaning to call. I want to say I am sorry. I should have asked questions when your mother sent that voicemail. I should have looked at the paperwork myself. I waited. Because with Dad, the apology always came with a second paragraph. But sweetheart, is there any way you could give us more time with the house? If you could just extend the cosigner arrangement for a few more months until we figure something out. Dad. He stopped. I heard the apology. I appreciate it. But I also heard the but. You are not calling because you are sorry. You are calling because the family needs my signature again. Silence. Then quietly, both, Vivienne. It is both. Maybe it is. But the answer is the same. The 60 days I gave at the meeting are still in effect. Nothing changes. Your mother is terrified of losing the house. Then Mom should talk to a financial advisor. Not to me. More silence. Then the thing that hit hardest. Not his words. The sound of his exhale. Long deflated. The sigh of a man who knows he is asking the wrong daughter to fix a problem the other daughter caused, but lacks the courage to say it out loud. I understand, he said finally. Dad. I love you. That has not changed. But love does not mean I light myself on fire to keep someone else warm. Not anymore. He hung up without saying goodbye. Just a click. And then nothing. The same abrupt silence that had been his answer to every hard question.